Good morning. I come to you today because I think that this is something very important, and a lot of times we don't like to say what's really on our minds. And I think this is something for children because as a black man in America, I often said that, you know, I know that maybe if it's midnight, you may not be able to see me coming. But I know when all the lights on and it's daybreak, high noon, and I get you to the fact that you don't even pay attention to me, you don't even look in my direction, is because to you, I don't exist. I am not on your radar. You don't pay attention to me because you're not even thinking about giving me any kind of credit or acknowledgement that I'm even here. And a lot of people let that affect them. But I got to the point where I don't even see you because in the daylight, you hard to see. Today I came with the Buffalo Soldier hat on there because I actually watched a couple of movies and read some things, and I said that I have a great deal of respect for veterans, period. But men, these men were escaping bondage. They were making a choice between being a slave and a soldier. Now, don't get me wrong. The military offers you a different type of slavery, and it's more complete. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, and someone has total control over you. But this is the big part, and this is the one that even the Army had to deal with, giving black folks guns. Now, this is the funny thing. Here, your enemy who's been killing you like you are ants or roaches has guns, but he doesn't want to give you guns to fight in a fight where he knows you need guns, and because he don't want you to have protection from him. But not only that, he doesn't want you to have anything that will give you an ounce of power. But I've gone a little bit out of the way because I wanted to start off with saying that the Buffalo Soldiers, once they did get their units out there in the field, were some of the most victorious and respected fighters, bar none. That even happened over in Africa, but there wasn't no Buffalo Soldiers. There were just tribesmen with no guns going against people with machine guns. I would call that murder. But let's stick with the here and now. And let's go back to the Civil War, because I want to tell you something about how our country treats elder people and especially veterans. Most of you weren't here during the Civil War, and you've heard all kind of lies, and they've told you why and what they wanted you to know about the Civil War. I wasn't there, but I do know one thing. Those people involved in the Civil War was brother against brother. And I'm not talking about black brothers. I'm talking about European brothers. All over slavery, all trying to build this country up and trying to reap the benefits or continue to reap the benefits of exploitation of a people to build up a nation. It's just that even though they knew they were wrong, they didn't want to be corrected. And so therefore, when some people started thinking that they were going to be able to control larger parcels of land and maybe get into other states and do different things, because some men are not satisfied with a little bit. What can a man do with 2 million acres of land when they got some people that's homeless? They got veterans that's homeless. And the system is made so that when these guys go to seek help from the very people that they fought for, it is made so hard, and you have to jump through so many hoops, and you have to deal with people who have no idea of the commitment you made to making their lives freer, and for them to be able to do the things that they're doing, such as doing your intake. Because some people, especially in VA hospitals and federal government, they think veterans are doing them a favor. Or they think they're doing veterans a favor. However it is, it's twisted. Recently, I had no choice because I didn't want to go. Most veterans don't want to go to the veteran hospital because they feel like if they go in, they won't come out. I know this for a fact because it happened to my father. It happened to my uncle. My grandfather wouldn't let it happen to him. He decided he's just you're going to have to take care of me out here. And that's what happened. But I just endured a hospital stay, and I did not want to go, so I waited 3 weeks. So by the time I did go, it wasn't pretty. So I stayed in the emergency for 3 hours before anybody really put a hand on me. They checked my blood pressure and everything else, but in emergency, they say they go by what they feel is the most important illnesses first. No matter what you look like or what you're going through, that's the way it is. So I went in at 5. I didn't get seen till like 8 or 9 o'clock. But when they did see me, it didn't take long for them to put my behind in the bed, you understand, and tell me I wasn't going nowhere. And then come back an hour later and ask if I would allow them to admit me. And I wanted to say, hell no. But guess what? I wouldn't have been able to make it back to my car. So I let them do that. And for the most part, I was on the 7th floor, 7100. And I was taken care of by a bunch of ladies. I won't call no names. And I was taken care of by a couple of men who made that stay not enjoyable, because the hospital stay is not enjoyable. But they surprised me by how they treated me, and they treated this man that was 94 next to me. They treated him like a baby, and I mean, he's due all of that respect, honor. Now, I had to stop because I'm trying to do 2 videos in one, and TikTok only allows you 10 minutes, and that's a whole different issue. Have you noticed how all the things about the Constitution are being challenged, like freedom of speech? Used to tell you to come on here so they want to hear what you have to say. Now all of a sudden, everything is getting smaller and smaller. What you can say, what you can do. No, that's no reason why you should be able to curse and act a fool on social media. But how is it that some people want to censor what you say just because you're talking the truth about America? I've been here long enough to be able to tell the truth. I've served my country and did things, that I was supposed to do that most people won't do. So how in the world can I get censored by people that are too cowardly to go serve in the military, but they got jobs that actually put them in a position to censor you as a grown man? Because those are children. You may not like what I have to say. You don't even have to agree. Most people, black people, don't like a lot of the things that I say. But I don't care because I got to be me. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that, and I've gotten all off course for a second, is that today in America, we got to wake the hell up. You see, the power is supposed to be in the people. But sometimes the power could be taken away from the people, and sometimes the people can give the power up voluntarily. Then they find themselves in a position where they don't know what to do. Now, we have a choice in this presidential election, just like I had choices in the military. Either do what they say or go to jail. Okay? Either do what master say or you get a whipping. And if you went too far, he would take and tie you one leg to one horse, one leg to another horse, and then make your children and everybody on the plantation watch while he tear you apart to instill fear inside of you. And this is what America is doing to their people right now. How in the world can we have a man that wants to represent the whole of the United States of America, and this is supposed to be a democratic society, tell you and everybody in the world that if he don't get elected, there's going to be a problem? I say it was a problem from the beginning, because if black folks would have stormed the White House, they would have had a bunch of bodies out there. They would not have hesitated. The police, the Capitol Police, the National Guard, and every other militia or whatever would have came out against them. But because they feel like that was their kind, you understand? Yeah, I said it. That was their kind, not your kind. Because black people have been for so long acting like, they're still serving on the plantation of old. See, the new plantation, I understand a little bit about that. I understand why you might kiss somebody behind and you take all the abuse that you take at work, because you want to live like them. You want to be them because you're scared to be yourself. As a military veteran, I'll tell you something. I had to go along to get along, because if I had no choice and I didn't salute, that was jail. That was taken away from my livelihood. That wasn't going to make me get home a little bit later. So I had to do those things, just like they had to do on the plantation. But let me tell you something. Men are supposed to be the king of the jungle. Hear me roar. You see, we not roaring in the United States no more, but we got lions here. We don't have, see, they don't know they're lions though, because they're so busy going along with the program. You see? But let me tell you something. When you hear one lion roar at the end of the jungle or in a different part of the jungle, you're supposed to answer that roar. And I'm talking about a man that is about to fight the whole damn country because he want his gold back. He want his schools for his children. He wants, to live a better life. He wants all of those sellout people to the West. He want them out of there. And you know what I'm saying? He gonna punish them. And so they're trying to assassinate him, the guy from Mali, and anybody that joined him. But how the hell do you do that from long distance? Because you think that everything in this world belongs to you. And nobody's willing to fight you for it. I learned as a little boy coming from Germany, moving around a project, and they got a lot of people out there can attest to what I'm saying, but I ain't giving you no names, or I don't have to give you nothing, but straight raw truth. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But I had something that I said, and I got a whole bunch of feedback from brothers and sisters that looked probably like me. Now, they might have had a couple other people in there, the pink people, but they said their home was here in America because they don't know nothing else. They were born here. I was born here on a military base. So you know what? I'm twice the citizen that most pink people are, white people, whatever you want to call it. And guess what? I know better than to call this my home. My true home is way over somewhere where they took my people from. Okay? And guess what? Even if I was here before the slave trade, I came here from a voyage from Africa, or I walked here on my own. So wherever the souls of black people, are, that's their home. No matter what they tell you, because you've been lied to, hoodwinked, you understand? Bamboozled. You don't know no better. And it's a sad thing that you don't have the guts to read and study your history, because then he could tell you anything. Those people could tell you anything. I hear Chinese people, Asian people. Some of them good, some of them hate our guts. Just like this man, and I'll get back to what I was saying about the VA hospital. I had some teams come in to see about me, okay? And 3 out of the 4 people were interacting with me, and they seemed like they cared. I don't care if they cared or not, but they seemed like it. They were talking. And then I had one standing back. He was studying me. And if he had an opportunity, if he had a chance, and if he didn't have to kiss this doctor's behind for internship, okay, and he looked like he was Indian, he looked like something, that came from a black root that don't know. And if he do know, he hate that black root, just like a lot of us hate our black roots. But guess what? So humanity hates the people and the places they came from. Because you can go as far back as you want to, talking about Ireland, England and all of that. But if you do your true history, you'll know that the first people walked out of Africa and it went everywhere. And what? You want to know how they got to be white? Far as I know, by only scientific means and the only information that your people gave us, because they stole all the rest of the information, okay? They had some of the first colleges and information colleges in Africa, Timbuktu. Okay? That's where you sent your people to learn from us. Okay? Now, getting back to something, the guy that was sitting back or standing back that really probably didn't want to have nothing to do with me being in that room or nothing, and guess what? I was cool with that. The only thing I wasn't cool with, I was sitting on the bed, he was standing up. So that means he was looking down on me. That pissed me off. But guess what? I couldn't stand up. My equilibrium wasn't right. But I knew one thing. He didn't have to want to deal with me because I didn't want to have to deal with him. Okay? You don't want to touch me. You don't want to hear what I got to say. Are you studying me? You need to go study your history books and find out where the hell you came from. I done studied you already. You come from me. Don't let anybody tell you out there, black folk, that you're not worth nothing. They had to hide your history from you because if they told you your real history, they would be in trouble. That's why they're in trouble right now. They want to get rid of all of this stuff with DEI, Project 2025. Yeah, y'all don't want to read, but I'm going to keep throwing it in your face because you want to make a presidential vote. You say you want to vote, but most of y'all don't know what the hell you voting for. And especially when you talk about, I don't even know what MAGNA means because I don't want to know. All I know it represents Trump and the Republican Party, and anybody that would put out something like Project 25, I don't want to know nothing about them. Okay? Because you know what? This is why I tell you, you only have one choice. Is Kamala Harris the best choice? Hell no. But they don't have nobody else better than her in there right now. In closing, for you who don't read, you know, I was like that, but then I went back to school. But my mom made sure I had a foundation, a good foundation. So I always read and dealt with encyclopedias and everything else. And they say, we will never let this happen. Project 2025, the blueprint for the presidential transition. But let me tell you something. I don't take nothing for granted in America. The way that they done burned down and flooded black cities that was doing well, you see, they call people that look like me niggas. And you know, a lot of our habits, they fall in line with being envious, jealous, you know what I'm saying? Hateful of one another. Don't even know why we hate them because you were taught that way. They put an implant in you, you know, all the way from when your mama sent you to kindergarten, all the way to 12th grade. Never taught about Africa. Always taught about the European way of thinking. Now look in the mirror. What sense do that make to teach you about a European when you're African and you ruled this country and this world for as long as they could remember? They had to go to you for knowledge. They had to go to you for cleanliness. They had to go to you to learn how to do things. But in closing, because it's so important in this election year, let's come with it. If you want to elect a Republican, this is what the whole world gets, not just you. This is what your mama get. This is what your daddy get. This is what your children get. This is what you get. This is what you sign up for. So I want you to know, in case you don't know, if you're both voting for Republican, and I'm not jeffing or advocating for no particular candidate right now, but if there only is one that you got a chance to live and you get educated and have your Social Security and all of that, there's only one candidate. Because if Trump get in there, let me tell you something. There's going to be an end to no-fault divorce. Complete ban on abortions without exception. You already see that's happening. Ban contraceptives. You already know that's happening. Additional tax breaks for corporations in the 1%. Why not? He's a billionaire. Higher taxes for the working class. This goes all the way back to monikers and when they used to call people serfs. You understand? The king was in the castle. The working people, they stayed outside the capital. They was the first ones to get killed when marauders came. They grew all the little fruits and vegetables and everything else, and then the king taxed them on that. That's equivalent to what's happening right here. Elimination of unions and protection, worker protections. Yeah. It's just like they used to have them little boys and girls working in the coal mines, working all day long until somebody put up some protective measures so that people couldn't abuse those children. They was already abusing their mama and daddy. That's all they know is abuse. Raise the retirement age. See, rich people don't care about you. They don't care how long you work. And let me tell you something. They don't care about your veterans. Veterans, they spend money more on defense and all kind of other stuff when you got enough stuff to keep people at bay, but you want more stuff. When your VA hospital is taking care of twice as many veterans that you are supposed to be taking care of. You work the hell out of them people. You work them like slaves, and everybody want a federal job because it's better than most. But you know, like I said, going back, I want y'all veterans to understand something. You know, whether you're white or black or whatever the case may be, if they didn't take care of their Civil War veterans, what the hell make you think they're going to take care of you now? They have not been doing it. Their children do not go to the military. Okay? You, as a rich person, don't go to the military. Okay? So the only people that's going and serving their country are poor people and people that may be what they call middle class, and they're wiping that out. We got KKK, militia, Nazis, and everything else. They hate our guts, but they don't hate the people that mistreat them. I got black people out here who telling me, yeah, go back to Africa, but my home is here in America. Your home ain't never been in America. You were just born here. All you did was slave for that man. If you had a true home, where's your damn embassy at? Where's your assistance at? Where's your constitutional rights that haven't been trampled on? Get caught out there after 12 o'clock on a lonely highway and tell me then your home is here. When that white man get out of that car with that badge, that billy, and that gun, and they never hear from you again. Tell me then that you're an American citizen. Elimination of union and worker protections is going to raise some hell. Raising the retirement age. All of this is in Project 2025, which nobody want to read. They're going to cut Social Security. You know why they're going to cut it? Because they done stole so much money, they can't replace it. They can't pay Japan. So Japan is buying up all the farmland around here that they can get. You understand? You're getting mad at people trying to tell you the truth. You don't want to know the truth because you can't handle the truth. They're going to cut Medicare, end Affordable Care Act, raise prescription drug prices, eliminate Department of Education. They don't want nobody to be educated but their children. See all of this moving ahead like we've been doing, and Kamala Harris running for president and everything else? That's not going to happen if this goes through. Where are you going to get educated if they close down the Department of Education? Every high school in a rich neighborhood got 3-4 times as much money coming in, and endorsements and endowments and support than any other black schools. And most people will tell you, well, it goes to your tax base on your homes and all that. That's bull stuff. Yeah, that might be written down on paper. But if you're rich, your parents rich and everything, they donating to that school. They're making sure you got all your uniform. Look at the black communities. They barely got books. You understand? And then you tell this lie about you want to arrest kids for truancy when you don't want to teach them economics. They don't want to teach them nothing about themselves. You treat them just like slaves in there. You understand? Because how in the hell can a white person love a black male or a black female like they love their own? And our parents don't understand that. They don't go to the school and check that out. White, Asian, Indian, and all of those, when it's Mother, Father Day, they there in groves seeing what's going on in their schools and everything else. Black folks, they don't do that. They go bring them to the front door and they leave their children to fight their battles with adults. And then they want to know why they don't want to go to school. They're going to raise prescription drug prices, use public taxpayer money for private religious schools. Now, they're going to use your money for private religious schools. Do you know what religion has done to us already? Religion has pimped us. The Catholic Church, one of the most richest, the richest probably institution in the world, got its own little world called the Vatican. And in that Vatican, they got catacombs of all the stolen information, wealth, and the keys to the kingdom. The Catholic Church was the one that put out the edict to make you a slave. You and everybody else that came close to you in color, that did not resemble them. Or they put their own people in servitude, the poor people, rich, now what they call white, Italians, Irishmen, but they were called niggers when they first got to Staten Island. They were worse than niggers, okay? But nobody don't want to talk about that. You see? Yeah. They're going to teach Christian religious beliefs in public schools. Yeah, we're going to talk about this some more then. Religion. I'm sorry to say you've been pimped. You've been you've been bamboozled. If God is in you, why you need a mediator between you and God? But I know why you go there. You see, you go there to feel important, to put on your Sunday best and act like one of those people that you talk about, a hypocrite. Because if you was really about God, you'd be talking to yourself. You'd be respecting yourself and anybody that looked like you. You'd have so much spirituality, people wouldn't even be able to come close to you because your spirit would tell you, get away from him. You sitting down there being pimped by a man that's supposed to be delivering a word that you already know. You got more rich preachers than I've ever seen in my life, more churches and everything else. And look at this world. Last thing is, when they came to conquer your country, they came missionaries first. Right on the heels of missionaries, after they softened you up and gave you the book, came the army. And you know what they did? They took all your people. They misused them, put them on boats, and took them somewhere. And if they didn't, they killed them. Look what happened in the Congo with King Leopold. England, Portugal, Spain, all these places. In Spain, you can't talk. You don't want black people over there. But black people is what brought your behind out of darkness and built up your countries and gave you universities. Check it out. No more free lunch and discounted lunch programs. That's 2025. And civil rights and DEI protections in the government. Oh no, we're going back to slavery. Ban African American and gender studies in all levels of education. They barely give it now, so that ain't nothing new. You're supposed to have two educations, the one that European give you and the one you have to find out on your own. And most of us too damn lazy, and we believe everything the man who puts stripes on you, whether it be prison stripes or physical stripes. Yeah. Ban books and curriculum about slavery. Why do we need to know about slavery? That's what he said. Hide everything from them. We can never let them know that they were the true gods of this earth. We can't let them know how powerful they are, because we'd have to kill them all. And maybe that's what they're trying to do by bringing the invasion of what they call immigrants, but that ain't nothing but our children too. They don't know it, just like you don't know it. And climate protection. Let me tell you something. The sad part about anybody being educated is they got to deal with uneducated people. People that already think they know that they don't know nothing. I thought I knew a little something, but right now I realize the little bit I know is a drop in a bucket compared to all of this information out here. And you see these secret societies who talk about a new world order. If you ever talk to them, find out where they got their ideas about secret societies from. Yeah, Egypt was a wealth of information. That's why people like Herodotus and all the rest of them that went there to study, they stayed there 20 years before the Egyptians gave them any kind of information. But where did the Egyptians get their information from? They say the Nile is the only river that flows backwards. So when you're going north, you're actually going south. And when you're going south, you're actually going north. Well, guess what? They came from another civilization that wasn't too far from the one that they built. And then they had all those other civilizations where they had the richest man on earth. And they would have whitewashed him, but they couldn't. And then, let's not forget how you tried to carve up Africa and detach Africa, talking about the Middle East and putting up these man-made channels and all of the rest of the things that you did. But you know what? I want you to go back to the 1800s when they had Africa and the Gold Coast and all of that. Why you think these people came in the South Africa? They came for your riches, but you're too nice. You let them off the boat. When you let them off the boat, they did things to your women. They did things to men. And they took your land. And before you know it, you were saying, praise the Lord. But you had already knew God. All you were doing is being a puppet. Now I'll tell you something. They don't want you to stop being a puppet. But I will tell you this. The only thing they respect is puppet masters.